Tanker Consulting Services. We're here, breakfast in the morning with morning coffee. Keith, how are we doing today?
Good.
Welcome everybody. Thursday morning, it is April 7th. I hope the weather's beginning to turn for those of you on the East Coast. For those of you everywhere else, I hope the weather's turning nice for you. We have a very, very special guest today. But as you know, we have a storyline here, which is how can we help people get together, employees and employers, to feel better about themselves, better about their jobs, better about them each other as they work, because we spend 8-9 hours a day with all these employees. There's so many ways to feel better about what we do. Some of them are intellectual, some of them are emotional, some of them are physical. Today we have a very special guest, Emi Kirschner. Emi, how are you today?
I am fantastic.
Good to see you.
You too.
Emi has actually been on the show a couple times, not necessarily with me, but she's been here with Keith on the show. She is a very experienced person, a certified holistic health coach.
Yes.
But she's really much more than that. I've had an opportunity to speak with her before we got on the air today, and she has such a great background and an interesting way as to how she got into this very passionate, not only is it an industry, but a passionate way of life. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we'd love to ask you some questions. Let's start out with, how did you get into this? Not everybody gets into this holistic health lifestyle,
Right.
without something coming about. Something happened.
Yes. And that breakthrough moment happened a long time ago. And it was really an interesting period for me, too, because this was when my oldest son, who's now 17, was a baby. So it was essentially 16 years ago. And we had transitioned him, he was, 1. We had transitioned him to milk, and he started having digestive problems. We took him to the doctors, and none of the tests, none of the doctors, none of the specialists could help us after series upon series of tests. And one of the things that I was like, well, he had antibiotics, he had ear infections, and I didn't know at the time that you didn't have to necessarily give antibiotics. I just was doing what the pediatrician said.
Well, we all do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I trusted that the pediatrician knew what she was doing, and it was all good. But at the time that we met with the last pediatric gastroenterologist, he said, I don't know. Like, we don't know why he's not digesting food properly. He said, really the only thing I can recommend is that you give him some olive oil so he doesn't lose any more weight. And ushered us out the door. And I was just like, excuse me?
That's all you can tell me.
Right. To no fault through his own. That was it. That he didn't know.
Right.
So it was really a catalyst and a point for me where I was like, well, this is my kid. I've got to figure it out.
Now it becomes personal. It becomes very special, very
Right.
important, very urgent, and you now probably become a professor in all these things that you now work with. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it started with me reading, every ingredient and every label of everything that I bought, and then reading every book I could find on how to heal and nutrition. And it was interesting because everything just seemed to kind of fall out of the sky and into my lap from a learning perspective without having to go search for it.
Right.
So over the course of the next year, I did heal his gut. And at 17, he eats like a teenager. And he's fine.
That's fine.
But it kind of went with my love for food.
Is there any scientific or medical support as to what you did that got him out of it, or is it something you grow out of? What did the doctor say after you brought this young child back and said, this is what we did and he's okay now?
I actually never saw the gastroenterologist again because there was no follow-up.
No reason, yeah.
Right. And I think we ended up switching pediatricians, but they were like, initially she was like, well, we don't have any idea either, so just whatever you're doing, maybe it'll pass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, going back now, part of my my coaching practice, I end up with a lot of digestive wellness clients. That's who's shown up. So the techniques that I use now are part of what I used with Brian when he was growing up, in more depth.
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's so much more information now than was 13, 14, 15, 16 years ago. Let alone it's at your fingertips now.
And the best part is that the science is changing,
Yeah.
And what we're finally realizing is that food not only is a healing modality, if you will,
Right.
but that you can change your disease risk by what you're eating and improve it. And that's pretty profound to me.
This is very special to me. We were talking offline.
Right.
I'm about to go to the doctor's today, and I have this
Yeah.
lab report I just did, all these tests, and I've had people look at it from medical doctors to functional health type of medicine and doctors. And of course, I have my interns looking at it. And I mentioned that to you and say, yeah, you let me know when they're all done, and I'll let you know what to do.
Right.
And I think eating is very important, and eating healthy is very important. I've tried, I fail, I start for a couple of weeks, I fail. It seems to be too much work. I read some of your wonderful tips here, which I want everybody to read. We'll give you a chance to learn how to get that from you.
Right.
18 ways to get healthy. Very basic, very simple stuff.
And
How do you
really
start
big
with people?
impacts.
Yeah. How do you start with people? How do they get started? I'm a lazy guy. How do I get started?
So if you were working with me, we would look at your schedule and where the gaps were and what you wanted to create. So a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs and executives, and they lead really jam-packed lives, and they forget to eat. So we'll look at that.
Or eat well, or either way. Yeah.
Either way, but a
Yeah.
lot of times they
Yeah.
skip breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think lots of people skip breakfast. you
It's
know.
the worst. It's the worst one. My dad, may he rest in peace. Breakfast is the most important
Right.
thing. Yeah.
So I will find a way that works for you within your taste range that you can make breakfast a habit. And that's what it is. It's about creating habits.
Now, what's really cool about what you do is that you can meet with people anywhere, anytime, from all over the world.
Yes.
Although you focus mainly in the United States.
I do.
You're looking for your first international client. That'd be so great. But you focus on the United States. You have clients all over the place.
Right.
You don't have to meet with these clients
No.
person to person
No.
physically. You can, in fact, you tell me it's more effective when you meet with them through phone calls or Skypes. I want to talk to you about that, but we need to take a moment for some commercials because someone has to pay for all this. So, here we are with Breakfast with the Boss. We're here with Emi Kirschner. I want you to stay with us. She's some great ideas to help us understand how we can make ourselves better. We'll be right back.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
With the Boss as part of the morning coffee drive show, and here we are with Emi Kirschner. Emi is a nutritionist. She's a mindset changer. She's a lifestyle changer. She's effective in what she does. She doesn't have to be face to face with you, which I find to be really cool, and that's where we left off before we went to break. So let's go back to that. You can meet people on the phone or Skype,
Right.
and you can help them.
Yes.
And I want people out there to understand how you do that so that they can feel comfortable calling you, not necessarily ever meeting you, although here we are today.
Right. Right. Well, and before I'm working with somebody, we'll have a few conversations.
Mhm.
But when we're in a session, when we're working, one of the things I love about being on the phone or Skype is that it really allows my client to be in a distraction-free zone,
Mhm.
if you will. So they're not worried about what's going on around them. They're not worried about, the computer going off, the kids in the background, if they're at work, people coming in
Mhm.
and out, and then we're there together, or even if I had an office. And it allows them the freedom too, if they're traveling, we can maintain the consistent sessions, and part of that consistency is what helps build the habits that make them successful.
Now, if we can sort of plant or play out a role play here, I'm an executive, I'm running around crazy. How do you help me?
Sure.
Now we talked first about, all right, Scott, what's your schedule? What do you like to eat? What do you eat? When do you eat?
Right.
How do you eat?
Right.
Do you drink much? You know, you go through the
Right.
whole litany of things. And I'll assume that's a discussion you have with everybody, so
Right.
that's fairly similar, but the answers are going to be different.
Of course.
Now, what happens after that, though?
So let's say that, for instance, you said that you skip breakfast sometimes.
I do.
And I would ask you, how do you feel during the course of the day? And what does what does the rest of your eating look like? Are you eating lunch? When are you eating dinner? Do you have snacks? Do you tend to snack after dinner? So you might say, that right around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you definitely need that cup of coffee to keep going. Or you arrive home so hungry because, you haven't eaten enough during the day. You grabbed a sandwich or something at lunch, which you woofed down, on the way to a meeting. And we would talk about that and look at your morning schedule. And I would share with you that breakfast is really important because it's where you're creating energy. And it's like putting gas in a car on 2 levels. One, you can't run on empty and be effective. So studies show that eating breakfast, helps your productivity. It helps your ability to focus. And also you want to have a protein-carb mixture for breakfast. And that could be any number of different things. And then we'd look at your schedule and find out where we could fit it in. And whether that's you pick something up to go initially, that you make something, that you have somebody who delivers stuff, the options are endless. It's what works for you.
Now, this is an evolving story. So
Yeah.
I start out a certain way, and then I get into it, or I don't get as much into it. So it works. It
Right.
evolves. Sometimes you might have to put me back in line.
Yes, and that's where we
Sometimes-
check in.
Yeah.
So I would set, at the end of the session, we'll set goals. So one of the things I tend to start with is, are you drinking enough water? And what does that look like? And most people are not.
Right.
And, you need approximately half of your body weight, or about 64 fluid ounces, depending on activity level, age, all those things. But let's say you're only drinking 8 ounces of water,
Yeah.
and the rest of it's all coffee. Well, if I tell you to drink 64 ounces of water tomorrow,
No,
it's not going to happen.
not happening. Yeah.
Right. So I'll say, well, just try to add another glass in, so you have 2 glasses of
Right.
water.
Right. And then start
And
slowly.
it's really that simple,
Mhm.
but those simple shifts are what make the lifestyle. And my goal, by the time I'm done working with my clients, is that they not only have a plan, but they know what their body needs, they know what their lifestyle is like, they know what their goals and their purpose are, and how they want to feel, so they can move through life's ups and downs, because it is certainly not a straight line, and life happens, things happen. But they can do that in a way that's healthy for them all the time.
Do they quickly feel the changes?
Yeah.
Fairly quickly or quickly?
I would say within a month they'll see changes.
Of providing with a new diet of some sort.
Right.
Now, it's not just food, though, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's
Look at you
not.
smiling.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. Darn, because I was
Yeah.
thinking, okay, all right, let's keep going. What else after that?
We'll look at their whole life.
Right.
So if you're super stressed out, if you have some negative relationships, if you're not exercising, if you're not experiencing joy, and whatever that means for you, any of those things, you can be eating perfectly and not lose the weight, not get healthier, not
Right, right.
reduce your risk for disease. Because
Mhm.
everything has to be in alignment. We're affected by everything, and stress is 80% of disease.
That's where I'm totally in agreement. Is that I've always felt that stress is a killer. And I've been in business a long time, and I've seen people who are very, very wealthy and very successful, but they don't look well, they don't act well, they aren't
Right.
well.
Right.
And I would rather be healthy and poor than rich and unhealthy.
You're having a whole heck of a lot more fun.
It seems like it. Now, we have to come back. We have another break, but I have much more to talk to you about.
Yeah.
This is Emi Kirschner. She is one heck of a nutritionist, but she's really more than that, because not only is she going to help you with her food advice and her consulting, but there's a more holistic approach to how you should live your life in a way that will make it stress-free, and we know stress is a killer. Stay with us. Emi's number, by the way, is 484-888-6563. Stay with us. This is Scott Tanker, Breakfast with the Boss. We'll be right back.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Wonderful, that R&B singer. Wonderful to hear from her. And Mark, great job on interviewing her. We're here with Emi Kirschner, who's actually going to be one day a renowned, not just a normal, a regular person, but a renowned nutritionist, a renowned health coach. We've been talking about the important factors that it takes for people to understand that health and eating habits and their way of life can really be a meaningful experience and a meaningful change. And offline we were talking about how do you get people to do that? So help us and help the people out there understand, how do you get them to take little steps before they take big steps? I think your water example was a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It really is breaking it down that into those tiny little small steps, because they feel easy. And that's, you know, as soon as I said before, as soon as I'm like, well, drink 64 ounces of water, most people are going to react with, not happening, no way.
Right.
And everything that I do is like that.
You build building blocks. So
And-
so drink one more glass a day to this
Right.
week. Then next week,
Right.
when you meet with them, because as people don't understand, and they may not, how does Emi do this? Well, she has phone sessions, and they work. They're specific and they're exclusive,
Right.
and they're non-distracting phone sessions during the course of your programs.
And there's support.
Right.
So I'm there to support my clients, not only during the phone sessions, but I offer email and text support,
Supporting.
not tech support.
Right.
But in between sessions, because it's vitally important to me that if somebody's stuck, that they're not waiting in between the session when it's already too late.
Right.
I want to be in that moment with them and help them move through it easily.
Right.
And it's being practical and pragmatic too. So I said, it's about your lifestyle and what works for you. Your health goals are different than mine, and what works for you is different than
What makes me happy
Right.
is different than what may make you happy.
Right.
Now, it was interesting. Emi and I was talking about camera again. We've had some wonderful conversations of some of the people that had some success.
Yeah.
And she had mentioned a couple people who went from being overweight and depressed, and depressed so much they might be staying in bed and losing productivity and not having a healthy life, a happy life, no relationships. Everything was old in her life, and all of a sudden, and they want to get help, but they don't know what to do.
Right.
So they call Emi, and they say, Emi, help me.
Right.
And their first comment is, in the
She said,
example,
I'm not going to cook.
I'm not going to cook. But the first, I want to lose weight. That was her
Right.
initial goal, and I'm not going to cook to do it.
Right. I'm not doing. She gave me a whole list of things, and that
That
was
I'm not
the one
gonna
that
do.
stuck with me. I'm not cooking, and I want to lose weight, and I feel like crap.
Right.
And over working, the time working with her, it was, I mean, not only did she lose the weight, and this was an amazing transformation story, and this is what I see time and time again, is that because she was kind of checking out of life, she would have these depressive periods where she essentially couldn't get out of bed for a couple of days. And as we were moving through, we addressed those and the reason behind them, and I gave her the tools so that she didn't have to exhaust herself and then take this time. So, all these wonderful things where she has more energy, she's lost the weight, she feels better, she's taking on new work projects and loving them. She bought a house for the first time ever. She had started dating somebody, for the first time in a couple of years, and really just, inviting new relationships in a completely different way for her.
I'm a firm believer that A had everything to do with B, meaning
Yes.
that if you change your lifestyle, you change your attitude, and often the attitude results in changing lifestyle, that it's not just luck, but things begin to happen in relation to that change. There's a famous golfer named Gary Player. He said, the harder I practice, the luckier I get. Well, here you are practicing. You're practicing better lifestyle. You're practicing better eating habits. You're practicing things that make you feel better. Once you feel better,
Right.
It's like walking downhill. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Exactly.
How do we start? I was telling you, I want to do this.
Uh-huh.
How do I start?
Right.
We have to call Emi. Tell the audience where we can get a hold of you,
Of course.
how we can get a hold of you,
Sure.
and maybe a little bit about the program. You mentioned it can be 6 to 9 months or along
Right.
those, depending on the situation. So go ahead and share.
So let me start with my contact info. I mean, you already gave my phone
Do
number,
it again.
but I'll do it again. So my phone number is 484-888-6563. Website is emikirschner.com, and that is EMIKIRSCHNER.com. Email is emi@emikirschner.com, so it's EMI@EMIKIRSCHNER.com. And you can find me all over social media. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, and Instagram. I think I got it all.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Now,
I'm there.
Emi, she's writing a book. You have an ebook coming
I
out
have an
in
ebook
May.
coming out
Right.
in May, the beginning part of May, and it'll be talking about how to make your health goals stick in a way that's practical and easy and fun.
Now, I want to tell people out there, Emi is for everybody. She's worked with families. She's worked with individuals. Sometimes she starts out with the kids and ends up with the parents. Sometimes she starts with the parents and ends up with the kids.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to have a discussion. I'm sure the initial discussions are courtesy of the firm, because how can she help you if she doesn't know anything about you?
Absolutely.
So she probably spent some time on the phone.
Right.
We've had a wonderful time meeting and speaking today, and we're going to do it again. But she has articles, she has participant programs, picky eater programs. I think anybody out there who wants to feel better and not take a pill to do it, you need to call you.
Yes.
Because you'll help them get on track. Now, she also has a great piece of information, 18 ways to get healthy now, and they're not long, they're short, they're succinct, and they're kind of straightforward and easy to get to.
Right.
And what Emi will do is help you discipline yourself, find the time in your lifetime for the style of the person you want to be. And I just think it's fantastic. Now,
Thank you.
tell me, you've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years,
Right.
and you've had your certification,
Right.
and you meet with people on the internet or on the phone when you help them throughout the country.
Yes.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And now, how long is the program typically set up for most of your clients?
For most people, I work with them for about 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it's that long, because a lot of people are into, the 30-day detox or the 6 weeks to, whatever.
Right.
Is because for me, it's about building a habit and the lifestyle. This is not the diet plan. This
Mhm.
is not the quick fix. This is about you creating what you want and not having to even think about the diet, the detox, or the 6-week plan ever again.
And after 9 months, the people are typically on their own and they can check in.
I have
guess,
a
like
maintenance
this.
program. Sometimes people, it depends on where their, what their
Mhm.
goals are. So
Mhm.
it's really fluid. And for me, again, it's about support and making sure that everybody reaches what they want to be at.
Well, I think people should really understand that Emi is not from the government, and you're here to help. She's helped numerous other people in her career.
Yeah.
You want to feel better. You want to talk to Emi. You want to learn the things that help you feel better, the ways to make you feel better. Not just eating. It's holistic, which means it's an attitude approach. It's a disciplinary approach, but you don't have to be disciplined necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not a
You just-
willpower person.
Right. You just have to be passionate, and you have to want to make a change in your life.
Right.
There's an old saying, if you think you can do it, if you think you can't do it, you're right.
Yes.
So, Emi, it's been a wonderful show today.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for being with us. I want everybody to get a hold of her. Call her. At the very least, talk to her. Because talk is cheap, and she'll help you figure out whether you need her and at what level you need her. And I think we all do. But
Right.
everybody has to see for themselves.
And that conversation, that initial conversation, is really about exactly that. It's finding out whether or not we're a fit for
Right.
each other. Because I'm not meant to work with everybody.
And vice versa.
Right.
Right.
So there has to be that connection.
Are you a pusher? You push people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People-
All right. If you want to be pushed by Emi, then I want you to give her a call.
In a gentle way.
A
Sometimes-
gentle, loving way.
Sometimes they don't even know they're getting a little,
Oh.
little shove.
A little shove. And then sometimes they do know, huh?
We get stuck in our own way.
Right.
So if I'm not pushing on occasion,
You're
then
not
I'm
doing your
not
job.
helping them move
Right,
forward.
right.
Right.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure, Emi. I really want everybody to give her a call, 484-888-6563. Emi at emikirschner.com and www.emikirschner.com. And Kirschner is spelled Kirschner. It's been a pleasure having you on the show here. Now, Emi comes on the show and other shows here with Keith's Productions during the course of the week. So listen to Emi each and every time she's on. And everybody have a great week. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your April. I know we're going to be having some April showers, but you know what happens. We get those May flowers. Have a great week. Keith, what do we do today?
Absolutely wonderful.
There we go. Everybody be well. We'll see you next Thursday. Ta-ta for now. This is Scott Tanker saying goodbye from Breakfast with the Boss.